And I was involuntary homeless for 2 weeks. And then Granada rang me and said, "We need your help. Kevin's not turned up for it was a £2 million storyline that they'd planned for years, like for him and Raquel to do this two-hander, which is like the first time it had ever been done on Coronation Street. And I said, I can't help you. I don't live with him anymore. And that was when the shit hit the fan, really.
Because you had been, cause probably an important part of the story there as well is that ultimately you were propping him up, you were enabling him as well.
I was.
That his life was
And it was
unmanageable,
really,
but you were helping him to manage it.
I was like, I'll tell you what I am. I could run a country. I'm so good at micromanagement. I can run your life. I can run my life. I can run his life. I can make sure that all the booze is in the fridge. I can make sure you've got food in the fridge. Do you know what I mean? I'm very good at spinning plates, and that's what is exactly what had happened. It was only in the leaving him, and I had to do. I still love this man, but I'd learned in Al-Anon that I had to learn to love him with my arms wide open, and I knew I couldn't save him, and there comes a point where you do have to.
Two addiction process there. You were dealing with your own alcoholism, but also your own need to enable, like you're addicted to enabling him as well as. So you're dealing to leaving. You were actually breaking both of them cycles, which is a massive change, isn't it? It's well worth highlighting to people because again, it's if that doesn't happen, nothing changes. That it sounds ridiculous when people say if nothing changes, nothing changes. Like, what are you on about? But this is the moment that it's actually talking about that you made that change and broke the cycle.
Yeah. And it had to be done, and unfortunately it doesn't come easy, does it? You know what it's like.
No.
We have to be broken, we have to be, I mean, me personally,
it feels desperate. It's the last thing you want to do, isn't it? It's the last thing you want to do, and again, unfortunately, you have to get very desperate for people to generally actually take that action, and it's against everybody's nature, it feels, up to that point. But it has a profound effect.
Absolutely.
It can lead to death, unfortunately, but it's not surprising to me that the amount of people that come into our rehab was when it wasn't just them that had enough, it was their family that had enough. Everybody had just had enough.
Yeah. But the thing is if you don't learn as a family member how to let go with love, if you don't get that support, then what you at risk of doing, which is what I would do, is before I got support, was I would enable. I'd be the biggest enabler on God's earth. I'd lie, I'd control, I'd manipulate. I didn't know I was doing any of this. I thought I was helping, And then when I started to learn that actually my behaviour was insane, I was as crazy, if not more crazy, than Kevin. Because, I'd go through his pockets like a military operation. I'd be checking bank statements. I'd be counting money out of his pockets. How much had he spent? Check it. I mean, in those days we didn't have mobile phones, so I'd be checking our telephone bill to see, if he'd been ringing dealers, and I'd track down dealers. I'd go round to dealers and confront them. It's like absolutely batshit craziness, and it was a full-time job. Honestly.
Sorry, just one more thing that I think is so important about that moment, because again, I think it's quite controversial what we're talking about now, for lots of different levels, for lots of different people, but because it seems, and there's no, when you talk to a lot of families and you say, well, why do you do it? And obviously they say, well, they're going to die if I don't do it. And there is a lot of truth to that, and I think that's what creates this almost hostage situation, that on one hand, you actually are keeping them alive, but on the other hand, you're also aiding them to their death. And I think that becomes a dilemma that people get stuck in, and they don't have all of that other information that you gained go, because again, you have to reach a place where you have to believe that this is the right thing, not the wrong thing that I'm doing.